Hey, Jack. So, a long time ago, it was the day before the day that was gonna be Christmas Day. In fact, it was in the evening before that day. And every place in the home none of the living beings were in motion. Okay? Not even the vermin that were living in the walls and in the floorboards, and all the socks were hanging by the fireplace, because in those days we didn't have the fancy drying machines like we do now. But also they were hanging there because the people inside thought that Santa Claus was gonna visit that night and drop, an orange or some wax lips, some licorice into them as a gift, for the kiddies. Now the youngsters were sleeping in their bunk beds and whatnot, and they were dreaming of the licorice that I mentioned that might get dropped in there. And my wife Jo, now she was in her holiday nightie there, and I was wearing my Snuggie, decorated with, all sorts of different kinds of ice creams. And we were laying there trying to get to sleep, and God, it was cold as crap. It was cold. I'm telling you, we had the electric blanket cranked up to 9. And then all of a sudden, I heard some nonsense happening in the front yard, so I got up to check it, see what all the racket was about. The light from the moon up there, it was shining off the snow, and it was so bright. The way it was doing that, it was like it was noon or something. And I kid you not, I saw what looked like an old midget piloting a midget sled with all of these, I guess they were, Shetland pony type deals. And I thought, hey Jack, that's the Santa Claus down there. And I'm telling you, he was moving. He was scooting, pal. So I yelled, hey Fats! He didn't hear because the window was closed. And he was busy shouting other business, He was saying something like, hey Dashiell! Yo, Tiny Dancer! Come on, Pringles! Schnitzel! Move it, Gromit! You too, stupid! Faster there, Donna Dixon! Something like that. And I watched him, climb up the trellis work on my house. So this dude and his troop of miniaturized horses were climbing up my walls, and then I heard them clickety-clicking about on my roof. It was like a horror movie. I was like, where is this cat going? So I went downstairs, and just as I got down there, the little freak was popping out of my fireplace. And this guy, he looked like, up close, he looked like a Nordic pimp dwarf. He was wearing red velvet, he had this weird hat, pointy shoes. But I tell you what, he fucked up because he ended up getting his fancy outfit all dirty in my fireplace. Shit, he used the front door. He had a satchel with him, and that just made him look even more like a hobo, like he was riding the rails, So I looked into his eyes, and they were all glassy and watery, and he was all flush, and he had so many gin blossoms on his nose. It looked like the photos of the back of my eyeballs that my optometrist takes when she does her yearly check on my giant drusen of the optic nerve disc. Dude had obviously been piloting that sled under the influence and had probably been drinking since he was 5 or something, And he had that droopy eyelid, smirky look on his face that drunks get when they're, you know what that look is, when they're about to face plant into the parquet. That's what he looked like. And he had this little pipey thing, and he was smoking something. Probably some swag weed, if I had to guess from the terrible stench. It was stinky poo. And this guy was clinically obese. Such a fat little man. Just a fat guy. I hate fat people. I find them funny. And also disdainful. And I laughed my ass off right in front of him. I was crying, Jack. And I knew I could take him. You know, I wasn't worried if he got violent. But he could have been a mute for all I know. Guy didn't say anything. Just started dropping shit into our socks. It was really wild. You know? Oh, and then he did the, you know, the cocaine nose thing, you know, where you tap the outside of your nostril with your index finger. I was like, what the? But you know, I haven't done that stuff in years, so he was barking up the wrong tree. And then he just, you know, scuttled back up through my fireplace. Then I saw him, you know, scoot off with his little horsies. And he shouted something, I don't know, as when he left my property. He yelled something. Something like, Happy Holidays, sleep tight, something like that. Anyway, that's my story. Merry Christmas and God bless America.